Hey, joining us now on the Marmy Rock Show. I am super excited to have Mike from Red Sun Rising on the show. These guys released an amazing album called Polyester Zeal on August 7th. Mike, welcome to the show.
Hey, what's up? Thanks for having me.
Man, it's our pleasure. And let me tell you, the first time I saw your band live, I actually caught that simulcast thing you guys did with Pop Evil on their album release. Can you tell folks a little bit about that show?
Oh, the Yahoo stream?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really cool. We kind of ended the first leg of that tour with Pop Evil out there in Grand Rapids, where they're from. And the coolest part about it, I think, not only was it their album release show, and everyone was really excited about that, but you know, that was our first live stream ever, especially of that quality. And I think a lot of fans that have never seen us before, you know, that couldn't make a show, were really, you know, telling us online, like, we finally got to see you, and we were really glad we did. And there's a lot of people out of the country that got to see us because we've never been over to Europe or anything yet. So that was really cool, as well as the fact that we played with Grand Rapids on the first tour with Pop Evil, and when we came back with this new record, there were some fans there that remembered us from the last time we were there, which was really cool to see.
Yeah, there looked like a monster crowd there, and I really, really enjoyed your guys' live set there. I got to tell you, the first time I saw you, I was blown away. So great job out there.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So what did you? Oh, you're welcome, man. So what did you guys do on your album release day? The album comes out. What are you guys doing on the day it comes out?
It was kind of funny because our album release day, we were just out on tour, so we didn't really get to celebrate it that much. I just remember the day that we could finally sell the record at a show, which was cool. We were out with Pop Evil, and I thought we were out with Nothing More, but I just rethought, and it was the Pop Evil tour, the first leg of it, and it was just been really cool because we didn't have a record the first 4 or 5 months that we were touring this year, because we had recorded it in January and February. So to finally have something physically there was just really cool. And I don't even remember I wish I could remember the date or the day. It was August 7th, but I don't remember what show that was. But it was, it was fun. Everyone was super excited to finally have albums at our merch table that we could sell. But we did just do an album release show last Saturday in Kent, which is right by our hometown of Akron, Ohio. And we had a great turnout, and since the record had been out a couple weeks, a lot of people were singing the songs back to us, which is really special.
Oh, sweet. So, hey man, let's get into talking about the album a little bit. You guys did something very, very cool. Before I ask about the song, I love that you put that long description of each song on Facebook. Whose idea was that? Where'd you come up with that thought to do that?
We had actually saw another band do it, and I think it might have been All That Remains, which is also on our label. They were doing some stuff like that with their new album, and our label approached us and they said, would you guys be willing to do something like this? Because you guys take a lot of time on your lyrics, and of course Ryan and I were super excited because we do put a lot of time into our lyrics, and we were glad to do it, and it was actually fun for us to kind of sit down and sometimes you write a song in the moment, and you don't really think about what you wrote it about after the fact, except when you're performing it. So it was cool just to sit down and just think about the writing process of each song and think about what it meant to us. And I think a lot of the fans enjoyed that, and I think it made them connect to the record a little more.
Yeah, talking about you and Ryan writing the lyrics, so one of the things I found really interesting in those posts was that you wrote about the tune The Other Side, that you guys each had a different theme in mind, but somehow you managed to make the song work. Tell me about that.
Yeah, and actually that happens quite a bit. Ryan's always been my partner with songwriting, and a lot of times one of us will come with the initial idea, and as soon as the other person gets stuck, I feel like the other person always has the answer, and it's always worked that way. Knock on wood. Hopefully it'll keep working that way. But the cool thing about The Other Side is we came up with the word The Other Side. I was kind of almost scatting the melody, and I just say scatting because I wasn't saying any real words, but it almost kind of sounded like I was saying the other side. So we chose to roll with that word. We're like, you know what, that's kind of a cool word. It fits really well with the melody and the way you're saying it. And we created a concept around it, and we thought about, like, what could the other side mean? And we chose to make it one word and to represent a place or an idea. And literally we each, like, I stayed in the studio and he went out back of the studio, and we kind of regrouped a couple hours later, and he showed me his lines, I showed him my lines, and we kind of made it work together, which was really fun to do.
Now, the music video for The Other Side's pretty cool. Now, tell me a little bit about the makeup work on thing. How long did it take to get made up for that? How uncomfortable was that?
It was actually very uncomfortable because it was a mix of latex and mud. So because they were getting us wet, they were wetting down the set to make it, the lights reflect and stuff. So they didn't want the mud to dry on me and start just flaking off. So they mixed it with a little bit of latex so it would be almost rubbery, and it would stay on. So being on wasn't as bad, but taking it off was ridiculous because I'm pulling it off my arms. It's like ripping my arm hair out, and it was pretty. We shot that in Akron, in this old warehouse, and I was like out in the street, pretty much with all my clothes off almost, and they were just like hosing me down at the end of it. So that was pretty fun.
So based on that review, it doesn't seem we've seen you do any Slipknot or Mushroom Head kind of costumes on stage anytime soon, huh?
Yeah, I mean, we've never done anything like that. We just kind of get up there and do our thing. Never done any costumes or anything.
Hey, another song, really, honestly, my favorite tune on the album has got to be the song Amnesia, and hats off to you for, like, a really, really super strong vocal performance on that. And when I hear you sing that, I can't help but hear, one of my favorite singers that you remind me of, Brent Smith, in there, a little bit of Shinedown. Who is it vocally that you look up to? Like, who are your vocal, people you're like, wow, I want to be that guy someday?
I really grew up listening to a lot of classic rock bands like Aerosmith. My parents were always playing Aerosmith and like Queen and Led Zeppelin. And then as I got older and like in high school, I started getting into the grunge era, which are also, spawned a lot of big vocalists like Chris Cornell and Lane Staley. And so I kind of grew up listening to rock bands that had big vocalists. And that was always the stuff I kind of strove to sing like when I started taking singing seriously. I've always been a guitar player, but then, eventually it came to the point where I had to actually, work on my craft as a vocalist to continue going forward. But yeah, I think that all spawns from just, growing up listening to that kind of music.
Well, killer performance on that song. It's an amazing tune. I'm going to play that one for sure tonight. Now,
thank you.
Hey, you guys have one of the coolest album covers I've seen in the entire year so far, and I saw you had a picture of the artist that drew that. For folks that maybe haven't seen the cover of Polyester Zeal yet, can you kind of clue them in a little bit on what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Actually, the picture on Polyester Zeal is a drawing of downtown Akron, and there's a homeless guy pushing a cart. It's full of just nonsense treasures that he carries with him that really can do him no good, but he carries them with him, because it makes him feel good. And the kind of the concept of Polyester Zeal is just that. Polyester is something very cheap and obtainable, and zeal is something you strive for. So the juxtaposition of the two is, cheap ambition or the obtainable dream or what makes you happy. So we gave that concept to a local artist in Akron, where we're from, and he kind of knocked it out of the park. He drew it up, hand drew it, and we all loved it. Really sticks out, especially like on iTunes and stuff, like next to the other album artworks. It really jumps out at you, and we're really happy with it.
It's an amazing cover. It always reminds me of back, when Iron Maiden did that classic cover with the club of my childhood, Hammerjacks listed on the back there.
Oh, yeah,
I thought that was really cool. And it just reminded me so much of that cover. But, hey, so you guys got some really cool touring dates coming up. I know you got stuff with All That Remains of Godsmack. Why don't you tell people kind of a little bit what parts of the country you're going on and to and who you're going out with?
Yeah, the All That Remains and We Came as Roman stuff is pretty much going to be the middle of the U.S., like as far east as, I believe, like Nashville. It's probably as far east. And then it's going to be, Fort Wayne. Actually, Fort Wayne will probably be a little more further east than that, but not too much stuff on the East Coast this fall, really. It's a lot of mid-U.S. to West Coast, and then all the Godsmack stuff is pretty much all West Coast. So, we want to get back over to the East Coast, but we've done a lot of that with, like Seether, and we did a lot with Pop Evil. So it'll be cool to kind of branch out to the West Coast. We've actually never done a full West Coast tour, so that'll be new for us, as well as, Godsmack will be, the single-handedly the biggest tour we've done, to date. So we're really, really excited about that one.
Man, you're going to gel great with all those bands, and I know you gel great with Pop Evil. We're huge Pop Evil fans, and all the bands that you're going out with, we're big fans of. You've been a band for a little while, and it seems like you just kind of exploded this year. What was the big turning point that kind of blew your band up this year?
It's kind of a combination of a lot of things. One of them is finally getting management to open some doors for us. Because, we're still putting on the same show we've put on for years, and we gained as much traction as we could as an independent artist, and we were doing well, but we needed someone to kind of open some doors for us and get us some opportunities, like some, obviously having a national record out, and finally getting radio play other than like college radio stations and local radio. So that's helped a lot. But we just keep working hard, and I really am thankful for Razor and Tie for letting us, write and record the record that we wanted to do, so we didn't have to change our sound or alter it or try to fit a mold. They really let us go in there and make the record that we've always wanted to at a professional level. So I think just a combination of a lot of things really, really helped us this year.
Well, this has been Mike, the vocalist from Red Sun Rising, everybody. They're an incredible band out of Akron, Ohio. Once I saw it live on the simulcast, and I know I'm going to be looking to see live in person real soon. And check them out on tour dates along with Godsmack and All That Remains. They're all over the country right now. So, hey, Mike, thanks so much for being here on the Marmy Rock Show tonight.
Oh, thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it.